You aren't being robbed in a dark alley. You aren't being held at gunpoint for your wallet. You are being bled out $10 at a time through a digital foredrip that you connected to your own veins. If you consider yourself a nerd, a developer, a gamer, a tech enthusiast, or just someone who lives a digital-first life, you are the primary target for the most sophisticated financial harvesting machine ever built. We call it the subscription economy, but a more accurate term would be digital. You no longer own your tools. You no longer own your entertainment. You don't even own your own productivity. You are renting your existence from a handful of billion-dollar corporations that have realized it is much more profitable to charge you for the rest of your life than it is to sell you something once. The average American nerd is currently spending a small fortune every month on services that feel like necessities, but are actually a carefully constructed trap designed to ensure you never build a real floor of wealth. Most people in the tech space think they re-smart with money because they don tea by $5 lattes every day. They laugh at the normies who overspend on designer clothes. But if you look at the raw, unweighted data of a typical developer's bank statement, the reality is brutal. Between the streaming services, the gaming, PaaS, the AI tools, and the cloud storage, the modern nerd is losing hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars a month to the monthly payment algorithm. This is the death by 1,000 cuts. It's a series of $9 and $20 charges that individually seem insignificant, but collectively, they represent a massive transfer of your life's energy to the lab owners. Before we deconstruct the specific tiers of the subscription trap and how to audit your digital life with the cold eyes of a forensic accountant, do me a favor. If you appreciate this kind of direct no-fluff reality that peels back the layers of the tech industry, hit the subscribe button and give this video a like. Most channels are sponsored by the very subscriptions that are keeping you broke. I am here to tell you why the sign up button is the most dangerous piece of code ever written. It helps the channel stay alive in an ecosystem that prefers consumerism over financial independence. Let's look at the first layer of the trap, the entertainment stack. This is the baseline: Netflix, Disney+, Hulu, HBO Max, Spotify, YouTube Premium. 10 years ago, you had one bill for cable and maybe a few CDs. Today, you are paying for 6 different libraries, half of which you don't even watch. The cynicism of the streaming war is that the content is being fragmented on purpose. You don't pay for the service. You pay to avoid the FOMO. You pay so you can understand the memes and join the conversations. For the average tech-savvy person, this stack alone is usually pushing $60 to $80 a month. You're paying for the privilege of choice. But the irony is that you spend more time scrolling through the menus than you do actually watching the content. You are the product being sold to the data analysts who are measuring your engagement to figure out how much they can raise the price next year. Then we hit the second layer, which is unique to the nerd ecosystem, the gaming. Gone are the days when you bought a game, put it in the tray, and played it until the disc wore out. Now, we have Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, Discord Nitro, and the Fortnite crew or whatever seasonal pass your poison of choice demands. We've been sold the lie that subscriptions are a better value because you get access to hundreds of games. But you don't have the time to play hundreds of games. You play 2, and you're paying $20 a month for the possibility of playing the others. You've traded ownership for a revolving door. The moment you stop paying, your library vanishes. Your progress is locked. Your digital identity is held for ransom. This is the no-fluff truth of modern gaming. The goal is give you a great game. The goal is to turn you into a recurring revenue stream. The third layer is where it gets dangerous for your career. The Pro Tools stack. This is where the industry really has you by the throat. GitHub Copilot, ChatGPT+, Midjourney, Adobe Creative Cloud, JetBrains, LinkedIn Premium. These are marketed as investments in yourself. And in the beginning, they increase your output. But notice how quickly they become a fixed cost of your existence. You can't write code without the AI anymore. You can't design without the Creative Cloud. You are paying a monthly tax to be able to do your job. The lab owners have realized that they can tax your productivity directly. If you're a freelance dev or a small-time creator. You might be looking at $200 a month just to keep your virtual office open. This brings us to the technical reality of why we fall for this. It's the small number bias. Your brain does unprocessed $10 a month as $120 a year. It processes it as a sandwich. But when you have 15 of these sandwiches, you're spending $1,800 a year. That is a high-end workstation. That is a vacation. That is a house down payment over a decade. The system is designed to bypass your financial filters by staying under the pain threshold. But here is the most cynical part of the subscription economy: the loss of the floor. In the old world, if you hit a rough patch, you could stop buying new things, but you kept the things you already had. You kept your software, your movies, your tools. Today, if your income drops and you stop paying the subscriptions, you are left with nothing. You have no floor to stand on. Your digital life is erased. This is a deliberate design choice by the lab owners to ensure you remain a compliant, hardworking rat. You cannot afford to take a break. You cannot afford to quit the job you hate. You are tethered to the machine by 1,000 tiny credit card transactions. If you want to break the cycle, you have to reclaim your hardware and your software. You have to stop being a tenant in the cloud and start being a landlord of your own data. One of the best ways to start is by owning the machine you work on. Instead of relying on cloud computing or renting high-end rigs through services, build a powerhouse that belongs to you. Own your processing power. Own your storage. If you're really looking to build a PC that actually has the overhead for real technical work, something that can handle local AI models, heavy compiling, and top-tier rendering without a monthly FI put a link in the description to a curated kit of the best parts. Building your own rig is the first step toward digital autonomy. It is a one-time investment that pays for itself by making you independent of the rental mindset. Let's do the math on the average nerd. Entertainment, $70. Gaming, $40. AI Pro, tools, $100. Cloud storage, VPN security, $30. Niche Patreon subs, $50. Total, $290 a month. That is nearly $3,500 a year. Over 30 years, if you invested that same money at an average market return, it would be over $300,000. You are literally paying for the lab owner's retirement while you worry about whether you can afford to retire at all. You are trading your future freedom for the convenience of not having to manage your own files. The fourth layer of the trap is the bundle. Amazon Prime, Apple One, Google One. These are the master traps. They combine things you need like shipping or things you don't like, music or TV. They make the value proposition seem so high that it feels stupid not to subscribe. But the goal of the bundle is ecosystem lock-in. They want to make the cost of leaving so high that you never even consider it. They want to be the OS of your entire life. The cynicism here is that once they own the ecosystem, they don't have to innovate. They just have to keep the gate. To survive this, you need to perform a digital purge. You need to look at every single recurring charge and ask yourself the hard questions. If I stop paying for this today, what do I actually lose? Can I replace this with an open source alternative? Can I buy a perpetual license for a competing tool? You'll now find that a lot of what you're repaying for is just digital clutter. You're paying for a gym membership you never use, but for your brain, the technical world is moving toward a state where everything as a service is the default. They want to charge you for your car's heated seats. They want to charge you for your mouse's extra buttons. They are trying to turn every physical object into a subscription box. The only defense is a hardware-first mindset. Own the silicon, own the drives. Learn to host your own services. Learn to use tools that don't require a constant heartbeat to a corporate server. Look at the people who are truly free in this industry. They aren't the ones with the most subscriptions. They are the ones who understand the stack from the metal up. They are the ones who can work offline. They are the ones who have built a floor of physical assets and high-income skills that depend on a pro subscription. They have realized that the most powerful service in the world is their own intelligence. And that doesn't require a monthly fee to anyone but themselves. The Great Human Lab wants you focused on the new features and the monthly price drop. They want you to feel like you're getting a deal. But the only real deal is ownership. When you own your tools, you have leverage. When you rent them, you have an obligation. Decide today which one you want to be. Stop being a Hevelia subscriber and start being a builder. Check that link in the description. Get the parts and build a machine that works for you, not for the scorekeepers. The maze is only powerful as long as you think you need the pellets they're selling. But once you realize you can grow your own food, once you realize you can build your own systems, the walls of the cage start to look a lot shorter. Don't let a series of 9.99 charges be the reason you still working a job you hate when you reclaim your capital, reclaim your time, reclaim your digital sovereignty. Stay cynical about the free trials. Stay curious about the open source alternatives. And most importantly, stay sharp, build your own floor, own your gear, and don't let a recurring transaction be the boss of your future. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the other side of the paywall, where the code is free and the ownership is total. Stay sharp, stay free, stay coding.